So today's report is going to be of LSD and cannabis at a dose of 2.5 hits of LSD, 7 to 10 hits of cannabis extract from a vape, as well as 2 joints. Found it on Erowid by a user called One Inner Light. And without any further ado, we'll get into it. I had a very challenging trip about 6 months ago. It was probably my 100th time taking LSD, and with long-time friends/strippers. The acid came on very strongly. It was a new batch we had not tried yet, and I had foolishly taken 2.5 blotters expecting them to be medium strength. Once the acid set in, I began to experience increasingly confusing perceptions of the current situation. Within about an hour of the effect starting, I had completely lost it. I can briefly remember rambling on about following your feelings and doing what makes you happy. Then I had the sensation that some cosmic force was speaking to me directly. My friends were on the same dose, but it didn't seem to be completely mindfucking them like myself. They were becoming more and more concerned for me, and this was confusing to me because in my state I believed I was making perfect sense. At some point an inner dialogue began between myself and a cosmic force. I visualized the universe reaching a turning point where all beings would have instilled in them the seed of compassion and unity, and the mental imagery of this dialogue involved a dragon coiled around a shiny white egg, and the dragon uncoiled and the egg hatched. After witnessing the egg hatch in my mind's eye, I flipped a switch. I leapt up from the floor and looked around at everyone, laughing/crying. I pointed and told them, "We're getting out of this motherfucker." Then I ran around the room having a sensation that I was just a spirit and could pass through objects. I was walking through the wall and into the bathroom. At one point I floated downstairs without using the steps at all. Later my friends told me that I'd ran into the wall, then ran down the stairs, jumping down 16 stairs in steps. Downstairs is where my memory blacks out. Apparently I ran straight out of the house. I came to an unfamiliar neighbourhood. I was on someone's porch sitting on their steps bleeding from my foot. It was here that I somewhat realised I was completely lost. Very shortly after, in the same couple minutes, I began another inner dialogue with that same cosmic force that basically said, "God is you, you are God. You're the only being in the entire cosmos. The job of God is so lonely. God stretches into infinitudes of form, seemingly becoming multiple entities, but in truth, there is only one." Then my memory was gone again, only to return a few moments later as I knocked on the stranger's door. He came to the door very late at night and immediately noticed my bleeding foot. He asked if I was okay, and this jarred me back to reality just enough, and I said that I had just had a terrible dream. Then he realised I was on drugs. He became angry and said, "Who's going to clean up all this blood off my porch?" I somehow managed to apologise and walk away, although I quickly forgot the situation and sat back down on his porch. To make a longer story short, I wandered this neighbourhood for 3 hours completely lost until the sun came up, and even then I couldn't recognise anything familiar. A cop had to take me home after one of the residents called to report a suspicious man walking around. I told him I'd gotten really drunk and wandered off. I ended up with frostbite on both feet and really damaged my personal relationships with my friends. Psychedelics are powerful. Please don't mess around, folks. There are so many exciting ways to expand your mind sober. Tibetan singing bowls are a favourite of mine. That space of complete emptiness and bliss that came to define the psychedelic experience for me can be found through entrancement via sound waves. Be kind, be smart, take your time in getting wise. It seems there are few shortcuts.